be my next request. All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is 3:02 on March 12th, calling this next meeting of the 911 Services Enterprise to order. Thank you all for being here today. Number one, or rather number two on the agenda is our discussion, any discussion or comments on the minutes from our last meeting, February 26th, or barring that, a motion to accept them. Everybody have a chance to look through them.
I had a chance to look through them. This is Amy, and I'd like to make a motion to accept those board meeting minutes from draft 5. Is that what it is? February 26th, 2025 meeting.
Yep.
Second.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Lynn. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those meeting minutes are adopted. Thank you. Public comment. So we still will be discussing our official policy later, but I'd like, with the permission of the board, to open up to public comments unless there are any objections or concerns, with the intention of being no more than 15 minutes, 3 minutes per person who would like to speak. Any concerns from the board on that? All right, with that, public comments. Anybody from the public who would like to speak before this board? Feel free to raise your hand and be addressed. Seeing none, public comments will close. Thank you. Website, language, and calendar widget. So thank you guys for the work you put into that. We talked about this at our last meeting. They are up on the Services Enterprise website, and then down below, do I need to refresh here? Is the calendar widget. So we have our calendar is up and running. Thank you for that, Lori. And the language, explaining to people who we are and what we're trying to do here. Any further? Yes, Matt.
There's a typo in that language.
Where are we at?
Second bullet point, CRS 2911-108 should be 104. And thank you to Jennifer for pointing out that mistake.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Matt. Lori, if you wouldn't mind getting that updated.
Absolutely. I'll get that done.
Thank you. Any further discussion on our website for the time being, or we can start taking it off the agenda and address as needed in the future? Yes, Daryl.
I just wanted to give a quick note. Nothing needs to change on your website, but the calendar that you have, in addition to your meetings being on that calendar, it looks like in the future they will also be on the PUC's public calendar so that it's more accessible to any other member of the public who's looking at the PUC website to know that a meeting's coming up.
Excellent. Thank you.
And this is Lori. They are already up there. So if you guys go to the PUC public calendar, all of our meetings are there.
Oh, not there. I'll take your word for it. I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Watch me as I click. Thank you both. All right. Public access to meetings. I don't recall what that is an agenda item for.
So that was just where I was going to explain why we switched from Google Meet to Zoom, and for the PUC calendar and all of that. So I already kind of explained it in the meeting. Do you want me to explain it again?
I think we got it, unless anybody else needs any additional. Thank you. All right, on to a bylaws review. So hopefully everybody got the latest version forwarded to them last week, I believe it was. Matt, I will start with you since I know you had some red lines. Did you want to share or talk through it, or how would you guys like to proceed with this?
I just reread through what we received that's dated March 6th, and I feel like the essence of the red line changes I had are all covered, other than the things that are still called out with sidebar comments.
Excellent. So let's focus on that, I guess.
Thank
Thank you. So there was the powers, duties, and functions clause here. Kirsten and Daryl, you were going to be following up. Essentially, do we change this to a may instead of a shall? Do we remove this? What is is there a requirement? Is there a need? With the intent being that we reserve as much as possible into this board without assigning it to another group.
I would say that's primarily a question for Daryl and Dora in general at this point. Daryl, do you foresee having an MOU of any sort?
That is a very good question, and it was something I had committed to following up on and did not. So I will make a note to myself this time to actually follow up on that.
Thank you. And just as a secondary clause to that, there's probably going to be, excuse me, a tie into our document retention policy. So I don't know if if I need to speak with somebody or if that's all on you or how that operation works, but certainly will require some follow-up.
I can follow up on that as well. So you want to know if Dora has a document retention policy that the enterprise would need to follow?
So Kirsten drafted an initial document retention policy, but part of it calls out our memorandum or presumed memorandum with Dora and how that interaction as far as the retention of the documents operates.
Okay.
If you could get just a copy of Dora's document retention policy, if that's public, that would be very helpful.
I will see what I can find.
Thank you. Next bulleted item, we talked about compensation. Kirsten, were there state rules regarding travel and acceptable expenses?
Yes, there are. And I apologize, I should have added that in before I forwarded it, but I will this time.
Thank you. Attendance. Sir,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get my hand raised fast enough back on the yes, the middle of that sentence. Including but not limited to, and then it lists a number of things that I think are delegated to us in statute. Are those words not moot because of how the statute's written? Or Kirsten, do you feel it's better to just keep them in there as boilerplate?
It's up to you. This is just sort of a catch-all for
Okay.
anything that isn't vested to you. So, I would have to go back and read your statute. If it does say all budgeting, purchasing, planning, things like that, then
Okay.
yes, but I can go back and check again.
Yeah. Well, unless other board members have concerns about it, I can let it go. I'm just sitting here thinking about all the things we could dream up for the department to help us do. How about that, Daryl?
I was typing a note to myself on the previous thing I agreed to do. Can you repeat that, please?
Oh, we were just talking about asking you to do everything for us under this clause right here.
Oh, Yeah, I do know though that if the enterprise needs Dora to do any of those things, then there will be that will be part of an MOU with Dora that would allow for those functions to be performed and paid for by the enterprise.
Okay.
A lot of times how this has happened, at least in my experience, is I send aboard this document, this part is in there. They shoot it back to whatever agency, in this case, Dora. Dora comes back and says, just for example, we'll do budgeting, but we're not going to do purchasing. And then we go back and say, well, we do need some purchasing, but so it's kind of a
Sure.
back and forth. So this could develop.
Okay, thank you.
And if there is work that needs to be done, that's why we have Lori on here.
Attendance. Matt, you had suggested additional wording about the noticing and seeking. Are we good with the changes that were made?
I am, although I thought you wanted more than this. In addition to this, or someone did.
My only concern, at least that I recall, my concern was whether or not we had the power to do anything
Mhm.
as far as removal from office or any kind of self-imposed discipline, so to speak.
Yeah,
Whether we could reserve that right or not. And I think if I remember from Kirsten, we are able to do that. It's just a matter of whatever action we take then has to be alerted to our appointing director and action taken from there.
okay.
So we'll get rid of that for now. Good with the positions as we discussed, the chair, vice chair, financial secretary, and then committees as needed, including the Budget Development Committee. Next call out was notice of meetings, and I think we have that covered now with the agendas being posted, the calendar being updated. So I think we're good there, if I have that correct. I'm seeing nods.
Yes, it's great.
There was some question about proxies and whether or not we can and or should be able to name proxies of any sort.
So I did look into this, and proxies are illegal. So
Okay,
it was a very black and white answer for once.
that pretty much clears up that. There was a question as far as the minutes. I know Lori is the one doing them for us. Is there a need to call that out, assign that specifically? And frankly, with our previous discussion, is there an ability to call that out pending an MOU with Dora to kind of assign that to Lori or a Dora representative? Or are we good as presented here, just that we shall?
I think the other section that would, if it had to go in an MOU or cover, it says including but not limited to, so it doesn't seem like we need to call it out in here. We're not saying that it has to be taken by board members, so it seems like it could fall into that other category of.
And that would be a great thing to outline in an MOU.
In the MOU.
Yeah.
Daryl, you taking notes?
Yep.
Thank you. All right, the Article 7 enterprise duties. Let's see, I had from our last meeting, Lynn's draft. Do we want me? to include these changes as far as updating. Hold on one second. Let me double check something, because this also has 2911-108, not 104. Thought 104 was the uses of. Is that maybe not a typo?
I had not reread my draft, so I didn't double check my own. I know when I was going through it, I tried to include what was needed.
Maybe that's why I wrote 108 in the first place.
I think
Not the
Jennifer,
10, not the 104, which is about use of charges in general.
yeah, 104 is uses of the funds. I think we're good with the 108. I don't think we need to make that change on the website.
I didn't mess it up.
Jennifer's got her hand up.
Yes, Jennifer?
If it's helpful, 2911-102.3 is the CRS that talks about the establishment of the surcharge. I'm going to try and look up what 108 actually is. But
This is Daryl. 108 is the statute creating the enterprise.
perfect.
And Jennifer is correct on the website. It looks like, Lori, did you already get that updated?
That was fast.
That was very fast, but it is for the purposes.
Right.
So that was a correct change. All right.
Yes.
Back to the topic on hand. Sorry for that segue. As far as the language of the bylaws, do we want to add in Lynn's recommendations here as far as kind of fleshing that out a little more, putting in the various CRS references, fleshing out that bylaws language a little more?
And I think the only one. So, yeah, most of it was just because those references kind of then kind of control what these powers are, where they're kind of refined. But I think the other ones, like the last, it's been a while since I looked at this, but where it says use of 911 revenues from sources other, those were just additional things I saw that were not in that one section that had some of the powers, but then if you read down a little further, it had a few more things in there. So that's where some of that, particularly the last one, I think got added in there. But because it said that, yeah, the enterprise powers and duties are to, and it was like, there wasn't anything saying including but not limited to or anything. So that's why I stuck those other ones in there, because it seemed like they were powers. They were kind of specified in the statute. The last one I could take or leave, but because it's just kind of a administrative activity, but rather than necessarily a power, I guess.
Well, it would be a duty.
It's a duty. It's a duty. That's a good point. And then I was hoping someone would, if we wanted this, would double check the sites.
This is Amy. I don't think it's bad to have CRS noted in there. I guess my only concern is if that should change at some point or be amended at some point or something like that, then we would just have to remember to update the bylaws.
Right.
Fair. Right, yays, nays, on including the more expanded and CRS included language? I will say I like it. I like the more specific. I agree, Amy, that we just have to keep on top of it. Any nays, any detractors who prefer the, I guess, more generic, so to speak, less specific? All right, I'll get that updated and I'll send it to Kirsten, and so you can put in your adjustments to that middle section. And that's it. Those were all the callouts. Any other items for discussion before we move on? All right, thank you.
So
Those-
will we need to then revisit it again at the next meeting and vote on it, or?
Yes, because there are
Okay.
still changes being made, so I would not want us to vote on
Okay.
accepting it yet. But we can move on to the couple policies. The first one being the code of conduct. Everybody have a chance to look over that.
Seems to be pretty straightforward to me. A pretty straightforward code of conduct policy.
I have two questions.
Yes, sir.
At the top, is it not more appropriate to capitalize governor? That's just a nitpick, doesn't really matter.
Where are we looking?
Second sentence, Article 1.
Right there.
Yeah, it's just a nitpick. It doesn't really matter. The second question that may matter more, if we can scroll down slowly, keep going. Oh, Article 4, first sentence of the second paragraph. If the office receives a complaint, I don't know that we've defined in this document what the office is. What is the office, or should that be something else?
Maybe we could be specific and say if the chair or vice chair,
Is it, yeah, or is it the office of the Attorney General? Is it?
right?
What is it? What office?
That is entirely possible, something I missed in
That's a great question.
updating from a previous. Kirsten, is that probably something from previous?
Yeah, that probably fits in with a few other boards I have. I mean, you could just eliminate the question of who receives the complaint, just say if a complaint comes before the board.
Sounds reasonable.
And that presents, no, but it comes before the board and presents an actual conflict. Or it might be better to say, if a complaint comes before the board that presents an actual conflict.
Or just take out the comma.
Yeah.
Because now we're saying
Yeah.
the
So
board
if a
that
complaint,
presents the conflict, I would have just deleted the comma.
yeah, that's better.
Okay. All right, with that change, how would people feel about voting on the adoption of this policy, or do you want to be able to sit on it until the next meeting?
I'm good to go.
Good to go.
I agree. I'm good to vote on it.
Then I will accept a motion toward that if anybody would like to make as such.
Can you scroll to the top? What do we call this exactly? Okay, I'll just do a motion to approve the 911 Services Enterprise Board Code of Conduct Policy.
Thank you, Lynn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is that Andrew? Thank
Yes.
you, Andrew. Any further discussion or comment on this policy and the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. All right, motion passes. We have a code of conduct policy. Up next is our public comment policy. Let's see, does this have the governor? Yes, it does. We'll switch that up.
I only had one comment under Article 2. I was wondering if we should say the board will set aside up to 15 minutes.
I had the same comment.
Mhm.
Okay.
And just a nitpick, I would write unless at the discretion of the chair after that, change in to at. But it doesn't really matter.
Unless right here at the discretion of the chair.
Yep.
Okay.
And then in the order in which sentence, again, it's immaterial. I would delete as unnecessary words of the board at the end.
Okay.
And then the second to last sentence, I would insert after the word topic. And I'm sure you deliberated on this already, or maybe you and Kirsten did, but I think I would insert relevant to the purposes of the enterprise. So it would be members of the public may comment on any topic relevant to the purposes of the enterprise, comma. If you attend enough meetings where there isn't that limitation, things can get weird.
That could come in handy from time to time.
So, I mean, I'm open to discussion if
No, I like that change.
thoughts about it. That was it for me. Thank you.
All right, anything further?
Why was harassing underlined in blue there? Is that? No. Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
That looks like Word trying to help us.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Clippy doesn't quite have it right on that one.
Clippy.
All right, how does everyone feel about potentially adopting this public comment policy?
I move that we vote to approve the public comment policy.
Second.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Matt. Any further discussion on the motion to adopt the public comment policy? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, the ayes have it. We have a public comment policy. Thank you. And that takes us to board comments. I will open up our board comments by bringing up, or rather re-bringing up something that came up at our last meeting. And Kirsten, if you wouldn't mind weighing in with anything that you discovered as far as the board's level of involvement with legislative efforts, the Joint Budget Committee. It specifically came up last meeting regarding Senate Bill 2531. And now, as I believe probably most of you have heard, if not all, the recommendations of the Joint Budget Committee regarding whether or not the services enterprise should be involved in the state's DTRS contracting.
So yes, I did look into this and asked around. I found out that apparently DORA has an internal policy that limits boards' abilities to speak directly to legislators. I was told this by a few other attorneys. And I did receive, I'm trying to open Teams right now and it is not cooperating. Someone sent me the email of someone at DORA who deals with sort of like DORA's legislative side. I don't know if any of you know Jenny Brown, but that's who was recommended as someone to reach out to. So I will put her email in the chat.
This being a public forum, are we worried about doxing Jenny?
Perhaps.
Maybe as a DORA employee, maybe her email is already out there, but I just.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, Jenny with a G, G-I.
And Jenny Brown is the Deputy Director of DORA.
Okay.
And
So-
she is, by the way, who I was going to reach out to about the MOU question.
Excellent. Thank you.
So the limitation is on communicating with legislators, verbally or otherwise.
Yes.
Anything else to it?
So just what I heard from other attorneys at my office, there's sort of a two-step process. One is does the overarching agency that you reside within have any policy on that? In this case, yes. And two, if not, it's still incredibly difficult to allow for boards to reach out to legislators without it being in some sort of open forum. But it seemed like DORA had, I forget exactly what they're called, but a team that specifically advances DORA's agencies and boards and commissions interests to the legislature. Sorry, I'm having trouble speaking.
And is this all in our capacity as enterprise board members as opposed to our employers' capacities? What hat we're wearing?
Are you?
That was going to be my question as well.
Do you mean because you're an enterprise board instead of?
Well, most of us are also involved in, for example, the legislative committee of the 911 task force, helping write bills. We're involved in PUC proceedings, workshops, drafting regulations, other political arms of our direct employers.
That's an interesting question.
And so if we're wearing those hats, whether it's our employer's hat, advocating for, our duties that are assigned to us by our employer, or through a task force committee, for example, or a statewide association that has a lobbyist and we're involved in those sorts of efforts, not wearing our enterprise hat.
Interesting.
That was gonna be my question too, because we have lobbyists under our employee with my employer, and they routinely ask me for my opinion on certain legislative matters that are coming up, and I've been kind of like, oh, I don't know where it lies with that. So that would be a great direction for us to get.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that aspect. Daryl has his hand up. He might have more.
I was just going to suggest when I reach out to Ginny to ask about the other items that I'm going to be talking to her about, Dora has dozens and dozens of boards. So it would really surprise me if they don't already have a written policy that I could pass along.
Excellent.
So I'll see if I can find something out. I do know, you're not giving up your First Amendment rights to sit on a board. So it may depend on, how you're representing yourself.
Yeah.
If you're giving comments as to whether you're representing your local agency that employs you, or if you're representing the board.
I noticed Michael has been very careful about making those preliminary statements that I say this in my capacity as executive director, not of any other entity.
Do not want to run afoul.
Sure, yeah.
And I guess my only other kind of concern along this avenue in reading some of the bills, the recommendations, I am worried that the people making these recommendations are not aware of this board, our capacity, our ability to follow through with some of the things they may or may not be recommending we partake in. So I guess that would all go through Jenny Brown in expressing those concerns, at least for now.
Yeah, I can find out what the policy is, and maybe we can, maybe this board could then incorporate that into your own policies.
Yeah, because one of those, there would be basically asking us to break federal rules about use of 911 charges, which could prevent the state of Colorado from receiving any federal 911 grant funding. And there's been a bill in Congress off and on for about $15 billion to the states. Not to mention that we won't have money in the till for quite some time. It's not like this got approved and suddenly there's money,
Right.
because it's separate from the state budget and state coffers. So it's not like something that would get funded through the state budget.
So I'm looking here and I did find it. Dora has an Office of Legislative Services, which according to this, the team tracks bills that may impact Dora divisions, conducts stakeholder outreach related to actions under consideration by the General Assembly, and assists divisions with implementation of new legislation. So it might be worth reaching out to that team and making sure they know that you exist, and see if they've been working on any of this.
That's all under Ginny, isn't it, Daryl?
It is, and I have direct contact with them. It's there are a couple of legislative liaisons that interact between Dora and the legislature. I can reach out and maybe see if maybe we could even bring them to a future meeting of this board and introduce them.
That would be great. Thank you. Kirsten, I don't know if you were able to find out anything additional about, for instance, the Tabor laws and the interaction there. One of the concerns I have heard is if the legislation requires us to use funds in a certain way, it doesn't actually avoid the Tabor requirements.
Yes, I have forwarded that question to our Tabor and Enterprise team, which is much smarter than I am. They have responded, they're working on it. They just assigned a few people to look into it. When would you like an answer on that so I can sort of make that happen?
Before the state legislation mandates something they shouldn't.
All right, I told them,
Today.
yeah, I told them preferably by the end of the week, the soonest possible. So I'll bug them on that this afternoon again and tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much. All right, any other board comments? Discussion items, good of the order. Seeing none, scheduling of our next meeting. Had a little conversation with Lori. There is, with this new Zoom setup, there is some potential for conflict with other boards, other meetings, other uses of the Zoom account. Are we still desirous of this every other week? At least until we get, I would say, the bylaws adopted. Do we need more time than that in finalizing our bylaws draft? If we keep this cadence, March 26th at 3 p.m. would be our next meeting.
Works for me.
26
March
works for
20
me as well.
I'm good.
All right, then our next meeting will be March 26th at 3 p.m. Final chance to speak or forever hold your peace.
I'm sorry, this is Daryl. I have a question. Have all of you been provided with the DORA Boards and Commissions Handbook? Was that part of your?
I don't believe so.
Handbook does not sound familiar. We had the AG training.
Okay, I will get you a copy of that because I think it may answer some of these questions that you're having about what DORA will do and what the responsibilities are regarding legislative policy.
That would be excellent. Thank you.
So Michael, just teeing up for the next meeting. Further consideration of the bylaws and the two other policies that were emailed to us.
There was one other policy, the document retention.
Oh, yeah, sorry, one other policy, my mistake.
But we'll have to work out what the MOU looks like because there's a reference to that MOU in the document retention policy.
Okay. All right.
And this is Amy. Just one question, just for clarification. So we're going to wait until we hear from Dora or from Kirsten's Tabor people regarding what's in front of the JBC right now. We don't need to discuss that in this meeting currently. I know it's been discussed in other meetings, but I didn't know if we should discuss it in this meeting.
Based on Kirsten's
Uh,
guidance, I don't
yeah.
know what we could do about it, but I'm happy to discuss it. If there's something you would like to discuss.
Well, I don't know. I just don't know if everybody in here is aware. I don't know if Lynn's fully aware of what's, a bunch of us are on the same committees outside of here, but I don't know if Lynn, are you aware of kind of what's potentially coming down the pipe?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
and so, yeah, internally, separately from me, we have folks that look at the various pieces of legislation. So yeah, it kind of came up internally at the same time as you all were discussing it last meeting. So
Okay.
I am
I
up
just
to
wanted make
speed,
sure.
but thank you for asking.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. Well then, at 3:47, this meeting, if there's a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Matt. Second. Andrew, thank you. All right. Have a great evening, everybody. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.